Anyway, so this is the Shift with Mike and Joe. We don't know what episode number this is, but it will be in the intro. This is a series that we're doing lately where we invite a guest and then we mess everything up and then we invite them back again and we redo it. So
the redo series.
The redo series. So this is number 2, and we've got Joey Mitchell again. Thank you for coming,
Hey,
Joey. It's a pleasure, man.
It's good to be back. I feel better. I feel more in tune with this one. We're gonna nail this one.
Heck yeah, man. You know what? I feel like last time, like I had never met you, so I felt a little bit awkward. Now we're friends. So like I feel so much more comfortable now.
Good.
Yeah, Joe hates it when I have like old friends on the podcast.
Well, I was telling you that Joey was the first guest that we've had that like you guys knew each other like your whole lives, and I had never like formally met you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I did feel a little bit.
You're left out. It's like,
the black sheep.
Joey used to pick on me in middle school.
Yeah, I can see that.
He used to call me fat.
I'd pick on you. That haircut you had, that was something.
Yeah, tell me about it. The Zach Morris cut. So anyway, Joey, we're glad you're here.
Thanks.
We all admire you and love you here. Tell us a little about your musical goings on right now, what you're up to.
Yes, please.
Just playing a lot. So I've been part of Joey Harkum Band for 6 years, and probably touring like 4 or 5 months out of the year with him, and then still doing mixed business locally, which that's all the time, and playing with other people. Played with Kavusi last night. Played with Ray Roten on Monday. I got Timmy Metz tomorrow.
Cool.
We got a gig in August now.
Yeah, bro.
What's tomorrow?
Timmy Metz, actually at the other Rehoboth Ale House. So I'm going to go home and then go back to Delaware.
Dude, you should... Wait, tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm at the one downtown.
You should just spend the night here.
There you go.
Gotta help.
Oh, he used to have a futon over there. It's no longer there.
I gotta help the wife and the kids tomorrow.
They can come stay around. Too.
Right? Little family thing.
I got some chicken salad in the fridge.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Chicken salad.
Your parents also live like right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
That could work. Yeah, there's celery in there.
Mom and Dad, no, I'm not. I'm gonna stay in Mike's studio instead. Thanks. I appreciate it, but I'm gonna sleep on
chicken
his floor.
salad.
Yeah,
he's got chicken salad.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, so we're doing The Office. That's going to be freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad
you guys are playing The Office in Pasadena.
Yeah,
that's cool. What, together? Mm-hmm. Nice, like a duo kind of thing.
It's the second Thursday in August. I can't remember what the date of that is.
14th.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you are playing together, not just.
No, it's like I'm
different parts of the room.
Then Joey's going to play a song on upright bass. And then I'm going to play a song on...
I didn't know if it was like a multiple artist kind of thing.
No.
Then I'll talk about how he did and what the things he could improve on that song.
Yeah. I got you.
Every time.
Maybe get a little closer to the front of the fret, Mike.
Right.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, you're an upright bassist.
Yes.
Probably the only one.
Upright bassist.
The only guy.
The upright bassist.
It's a lost art.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, dude, you're playing with some heavy hitters. I mean, you got Mike Waske coming up.
Should have Mike Waske coming up.
Yeah, he's downgrading for me. So Joey and I did used to play a lot together. We kind of got our start. I mean, I would say together, right? We were talking
Sheridan's
about that last
my very
time.
first bar gig. Yep.
Yeah, Sheridan's. Remember taking Ambien and falling asleep playing.
Ambien?
You took Ambien.
That's what was in that
one time,
bar.
One time, yeah. That we didn't talk about this last time. You talked about I think the time that the first time we got asked to play, we had been, or you I think had been drinking all night or something, right? And it was like a bad situation. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I was talking about so the first gig we ever had, I was 21. You're probably 22 or 23.
Yeah.
And it was Sheridan's, and it was like Rudy was the bartender.
Yeah.
And we didn't make any. It was $100 split between both of us. But we had a free tap, and like being that age, and
like that's all that really matters.
Open bar,
Yeah.
You haven't learned how to handle yourself too well. So I think that's what I was talking about. Is just like, you're just going for it and just leaning up against the wall, like playing.
Yeah. So one time I was like getting ready to go home and go to bed because I had to be somewhere the next day, and John Fraze and somebody were playing, Justin Hemmerich or something.
Yeah.
And,
minimum wage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, minimum wage. Yeah. And I was like, and I lived right up the road, so like, and this is not something that I would ever consider. I wouldn't even take an Ambien now ever at all. But at the time, it was like, well, I'm going to be home in like 10 minutes. I might as well get a head start on this, you know. So I took this in, and then John's like, and Mike Waskey's going to come up on break and play. And like you and I got up and play, and I like literally fell asleep playing. I was like, and I like woke up like, oh God, where am I? Dude, I saw this video the other day of this guy.
I probably blacked that out.
He put, what'd you say?
I probably blacked that out.
Yeah, probably. Like, Mike's cool still, man. This guy who like put his wife was asleep, and he put like he laid out like an Uno game, and like put a hand of cards in her hand while she was like sleeping.
I saw. No, you were telling me about that.
And he woke her up and was like, "Babe, it's your turn." She's like, "Green." Like, what color? What? Like, she's like, where the heck am I? And then she like thinks she's playing Uno. So, I don't know. You had to see it. It was hilarious.
That is funny.
But anyway, so you've also played with what's that guy's name? I'm blanking out all of a sudden. Gosh, Ruben.
Yeah, Swampcandy. That was like 10 years. That was 2010 to 2020.
And toured all over Europe.
Yep.
And everything.
Did all the UK tours. That started when I started playing in that band.
Yeah.
It was. I met him. So yeah, we had Saturday nights at Sheridan's, and the Friday. Yeah, John and Minimum Wage were Thursday nights. And the Thursday nights were packed. He slayed it. He's got a great voice, man. He was. Yeah. They were like all the Journey stuff and going.
Yeah.
And then Fridays were the slower country night, and that was 81 South. Caitlin and Jen as a duo doing that gig, and they were looking for like a full band, and so I started playing electric bass with them. And when that band finally split up, 2 years later or something, Jen was out doing gigs, and she was doing gigs with Ruben from Swampcandy, and he had started Swampcandy maybe like 2 years before that. And I was just trying to get more work. And when I went out to go see her play, I met him, and I was doing the kick drum upright bass thing. So I'm playing kick drum upright, slapping on the neck for like a snare sound.
You were doing that way back then?
I started that pretty early, man. Yeah,
Okay.
the mixed business with the castle-based gigs, I think, is where I started bringing that out.
Okay.
And I approached Ruben. I was like, I think what I do would be really good for what like this Delta Blues thing that you're doing. And then it wasn't long where a couple months later, somebody had reached out to him on MySpace about booking a UK tour for him.
MySpace.
And I'd never been on tour before, and I was like, I absolutely want to do that.
Yeah. Cool. And tell us a little bit of how you guys like. I know you did tell us this before, but I forgot already. It's been a month. I mean, no, but like, how did you go about setting up those setting up those
the gigs over there?
And yeah, like
the first run was set up by a guy from a band called the Black Oil Brothers, who I had never met or talked to, but he was emailing. Yeah, he was messaging Ruben, and I think what it was he was regularly touring over there, and he he was trying to keep his contacts hot. So he was booking other bands, I think just for free. So he booked a 2-week tour for us, and it wasn't full. It was like maybe 8 gigs were booked.
Okay.
And we just went out there and just kind of like hustled and busked and found gigs. And we filled in almost every open day we had. Yeah. And then from there, you meet the people and you're there, and then it just kind of grows. And you talk to more people, and the next tour was 2 weeks like solidly booked when we went out there. Then you have a 3-week tour, and then at the end of it, we were doing 2-month-long tours a year. One that would go up to Scotland and kind of stay more north, and one that would kind of go over to Europe.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great.
You did some busking while you were there too?
Yeah, it's like the very first gig. Flying with an upright bass is like awful.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
So we borrowed a bass from Larry Melton, who plays in the Jarflies and plays with Dan Haas. And I guess he used to tour the UK, and he had a K bass over there, and he kept it in a little town called Telford, which is in like the West Midlands, kind of outside of Birmingham. So we flew in, rented a car, drove to Telford, got the bass, stayed in Telford that night, and we had the next day off, and we asked where to go, and just to kind of busk or hang out. And they sent us to Shrewsbury, which was 20 minutes up the road. And they have a nice like kind of town center, and we pulled up there, like set up, busked, made like 30 pounds in like an hour. And then a guy who owned Russ, who owned a bar called the Nag's Head, which was kind of funny because we played the Ram's Head. It's like the same,
Oh yeah, it's like the sister.
He was just walking into town and found us and was like, "What are you guys doing? Are you guys playing tonight?" And he gave us a gig that night. Probably gave us like 50 pounds or something to do it. So we packed, like it was just that kind of thing. And you just go and hustle and try to find stuff. And we went and walked around. After that, we like did what we needed to do for the day. Got some food. Went to this little neighborhood pub, and that's the pub where I ended up like meeting my wife.
Oh, cool.
You know, a few years later.
Nice.
The pub that put us on, Russ. My wife worked there once she got back, like later, a few years later.
Cool.
So it all kind of just happened to be in Shrewsbury, and
So just curious, this is not really music related, but I'm just curious, like when you met your wife and you guys got married, how did you make the decision to stay? Like I could imagine there was a question of like, do we move to Europe?
oh yeah, that's still a question now.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was really that she was away in Thailand teaching English for 2 years. She got back. So the fact that she was able, like, didn't have that much going on when I met her, it just worked out to where, you know, we could work out kind of. So
You had stuff going on in America.
I was there in maybe like April that year when I met her. And I think she had just gotten back in January from being away. Okay. She was staying with her parents. She was working in that pub in the Nag's Head. And I guess her sister had seen us the year before and sent her out to see us. But right, so like she was living with her parents. She was like hadn't really gotten into a career or anything, and I like own a house here, and
okay, you already like,
I'm like established. So it just kind of made sense.
Does she have a citizenship there still?
Yeah, she's a UK citizen. She has a green card here.
Have you looked into what it would take for you to get since you're married to her? Could you get a?
I think it's harder there than it is here. Like it'd be easier for her to get citizenship here for somebody who knows now. But it's tough. But I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for me to get like a work visa or something if you were to go over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting. Like, when I hear people talking about, like, I mean, regardless of how you feel about like politics and stuff, like lately people have talked about, I'm gonna like move out of the country, and it's like,
right.
I don't think it's just like you just like move into another country.
Yeah, I see how people do that because it's not
that easy. You just move to like wherever, you know, like you gotta.
We had to get work visas to tour there, you know, because if you're walking through customs with a guitar, like they're gonna stop you.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, you had to get like a.
If you get caught working over there without a visa, I think you get like an automatic 5-year ban.
Dang,
people do it, but yeah. So we always got the work visa. It wasn't that much, but that's for a limited amount of time. You know, you can't just like it's not like you can work all year now.
Yeah,
you may have already answered this question, but why Europe? Like, how did that instead of opposed to touring somewhere here? Like, did you already have connections there?
No, well, yeah, that guy just reached out and offered to do it. Yeah. I do think, like, England just likes the blues more.
Well, that's
England,
true.
I feel like England just kind of cares more about American music. Mm-hmm. And Europe, too. You know, you think about, like, how well, like, where jazz musicians went and lived.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of jazz musicians moved to Norway or France or wherever. And I think you think about all the music that came back here that was massive in England, like Beatles, Led Zeppelin, it's all American influence.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guys who brought the blues back, I mean, like Eric Clapton, like will we really know about Robert Johnson and Son House and those guys without like Clapton and without Led Zeppelin and Jeff Beck and, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think you guys still did pretty good over here too, but I guess they really ate it up over there, huh?
I mean, there's something, we were still doing pub gigs. We weren't like going over there and selling, you know, small venues out.
But you were playing original music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were able to like you said, fill in all those dates just by like playing on the street and like talking to people and them hearing you, which is pretty impressive.
And there's a novelty, I think, just to being American and playing American music in another country too. So I think there's also like it gives it a little bit of legitimacy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're doing the blues thing.
Yeah, I mean, just the exotic, like it would work vice versa too. Like if you were from Europe and you know, approached places around here, like it's like they can put it in the paper, you know, like London.
It's a special thing.
So and so is coming to, you know,
or were you sure to like talk into the microphone every so often so that they knew you were American?
I mean, I usually don't get a mic, but Ruben, you know, it's not like we're hiding it, I guess.
Or you're like, hey, y'all, we're from America.
Yeah, like 6 beers in and my Eastern Shore comes out.
Oh my God, he's American. Yeah, man, I'm sure that was an awesome experience. I mean, I can't imagine.
Great, man.
And then you did it again with Joe, with Joey, right?
I took him.
Basically
Yeah, I mean,
same.
we were supposed to go in 2020. That was kind of the thing. I just wanted to keep it going, and I had all the contacts. So I had a whole tour booked in 2020, and that might have even taken us to Ireland, maybe Scotland and Ireland. And, 2020 happened.
Yeah.
And it got obviously canceled. And then I booked another one for us in 22, but by that point, he had his son, and we had my daughter. And it was just tougher for him to be away for that long. So, I mean, originally he gave me like 2 weekends, like a 10-day window, which is like kind of tough. It's not a lot of time to get over there and
by the time you get
even
there,
try to like break even over there. But I got a good offer in Germany through a friend and was able to convince him to give me another weekend. So we ended up making like almost a 3-week thing out of it.
Yeah.
But then we had more kids, and it's been tough to get
Damn
back.
kids.
But
Yeah.
trying though, man, I'd love to. It's just when it makes sense. That and like, he's much more successful here than Swampcandy ever was. So it's if Swampcandy is going over there for 2 months out of the year, we're not like abandoning really good opportunities here necessarily to do it. Where with him, it's a little bit tougher because
Yeah,
he's
it's gotta
starting
make
new
sense.
over there, and he is so established here that he'd be turning down, I think, a lot of good like festivals and offers and things.
Yeah, you guys have a pretty good like tour set up now in the U.S. or I mean,
Yeah, he's
places
doing
that
great.
you go to regularly and
Yeah, we're doing
throughout
West
the
Coast once a
country.
year. We just did a Midwest run at the end of April,
Cool.
which was really fun.
Do you do all stand-up stuff with Joey Harkum?
When it's full band, I do maybe a quarter of the songs on electric.
Oh, okay.
And then when it's Pasadena band, that's all electric. But that's only a couple gigs a year. We're doing Red Eyes.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
the
cool.
first Saturday of June. I think that's maybe the 7th. Maybe there's like an Annapolis Music Festival
Yeah, that's
thing.
pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Okay, they did that last year. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that that there's a especially at somewhere like Red Eyes where you think of it as such a like cover band bar,
Right.
To have like sort of enough interest in local bands that are going to do. I mean, I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys are doing all original stuff. I'm
Yep.
sure, right? And probably most.
Yeah,
of the
Bonnet
bands
Bentley's
there.
on it. Cavussy's on it. I think Girl Lincolns are on it. Brandon Hardesty and the Uglies. So I guess it's like a broken down version of Bumpin' Uglies.
Okay,
Are doing it.
That's cool.
So yeah, it'll be all original stuff.
so it's not
Girl
going to be
Dinkins,
bumping,
I was
but it
always a
will be
fan of
other-
them.
It'll be a smaller thing, I think.
Okay, cool. And you don't you play with them sometimes?
I played one. There was a good friend of mine, Gail, was doing like a winter concert series, and there were some noise complaints over the summer from some neighbors. So she was trying to figure out like how to kind of keep something going over the winter time. So she was like, "Why don't we have you do one a month with different people?" So I had like my own little concert series, and one of them was with I did one with it was amazing. Like it was a lot of work. I had to learn a lot of songs because they
Yeah.
wanted, I think, like 2 75-minute sets. So one with Scribe, which I already knew most of his stuff. We did one with Jordan Sokol, which we used to play a lot like 10 years ago. But I had to bring a lot of those songs back and learn some new stuff. And we did a mixed business one that was easy. So I do that a lot. And then Brandon, I had to learn all those songs. And I think there was one more.
Do you guys have original stuff, Mixed Business?
We put out an album a long time ago, maybe like 09.
Okay.
And that was when Mark was in the band. So he sang, they were mostly his originals.
Okay.
But there were a couple Brian songs on there, and we'll break out Red Room and a couple of those every once in a while.
Okay.
That was kind of a short-lived thing, and then we just, started doing covers. And
Okay. You guys do cool covers, though. I mean,
we try to like keep them interesting and
Yeah.
make them a little bit different.
it's like most or a lot of people probably wouldn't know a good amount of those covers, or they would like kind of recognize them, but not,
Yeah, it's a lot of Tom Waits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a little bit
Wow, that's
further
cool.
out. Yeah, he's a big Tom Waits guy, and we have fun with those songs. We just started doing, as a trio, Airbag by Radiohead, and that's been a blast. Like with the bow and that
Nice.
intro melody and everything.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
That's
always
been
loved
good.
doing
That's
their
fun.
Radiohead songs with you. Those are good.
yeah,
Like
to
you do
break
a
some
good,
out.
a good Radiohead cover. Which one were you
I
doing?
do a few Radioheads.
Big
I
Plastic
sort of
Trees.
Plastic Trees. You did a really good job.
I
of
sort
that.
of stopped doing Radiohead for a while, but I've started recently doing Radiohead again. I don't know. It's like
When you have to learn like all those songs, you were talking about all the songs that you have to learn. Do you memorize everything, or do you look at charts like while you're playing?
For some of them, like for Brandon, I definitely had, it's not charts. It was just like, it's a song list, and I have the key, and I have the progressions a lot of times written out.
Yeah.
Just so I can kind of glance at it and have an idea where it's going. But you can mostly kind of hear, and I've, like I make a playlist. Like there was he gave me the songs, and I have title, and I make a playlist and title, and I just listen to those songs when I drive. And then from that, you can pretty much hear where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we go ahead. Yeah.
No, that was it. I just said yeah. That was it.
We talked about this last time, but I had asked you your how you thought like music school affected or helped or didn't help with your career personally, and you were saying as a sideman that it helps a lot with like that type of thing.
Yeah, for what I do, like having to understand music, it was huge. Like you have to you understand the context of things. And I think I made that language association last time. Like if I asked you to memorize a paragraph in Portuguese, you'd be going like letter by letter probably. Or maybe you'd be able to like take chunks of letters together. But if I gave it to you in English, you would understand the idea of it, and you'd be able to memorize it and recite it a lot easier. And it's kind of the same thing. Like if you can hear chord progressions, understand how they work, understand how songs work. Like if you can have this basic form of like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, then everything else is a version of that. And like having that bass line down, you can think this is like that, but it has this. This is like that, but it has an extra chorus on the end, or there's a solo where the bridge should be, or there's an extra verse chorus in there before it. So having that really helps.
Yeah, it's huge.
And music school with working on your ear and all that's great. A big part of it too are just like the relationships that you build there and people that you meet there. I think where I went, UMBC, it was a smaller program. So it was less helpful there, but the experience of it was awesome.
Yeah.
The piece of paper is not really worth anything.
Yeah.
But the experience of it.
Yeah. I mean, I figured your response would be similar to what you said, being that fluent in music. Someone like me, I would have to like literally look at charts probably for every song until I memorized it. But, like you're saying, knowing where the song is going and understanding the language of music, I'm sure is extremely helpful when you're playing with all kinds of different people.
And reading the chart kind of slows you down too. And that was a mistake I made like early on with you. I remember we had like pre-iPad, we had like the notebooks,
gosh,
like the fattest notebooks with like tabs and lyric sheets in them, and just flipping through the notebooks. But the more your head's in that book, you're just relying on that book, and you're never going to actually learn the song. So like for those first year or two, probably I was just like sight reading everything and never really getting the tunes down.
And you've got that barrier between you and the audience.
Oh yeah,
and it's like,
your head's in a book. You're not.
Yeah,
I have a bunch of stuff on my iPad, new songs, and I would find myself like still looking at the iPad even though I had played the song 50 times, and I'm thinking to myself like, I gotta turn this off and not look at it. I might fuck it up, but I can't keep looking, using that as a crutch, I guess.
That's the only way to learn. Yeah, with vocalists, like you got to have it a lot, like memorizing all those lyrics. Or if people just want to hear a song that you don't know that well, like you're just trying to make requests happen, like that's a big thing. But trying to get off of that.
For some reason, I don't really have a hard time memorizing lyrics. Sometimes I'll forget like how the song starts, and then like if I just glance, oh right, those are the first few words, and then I've got it all. But with chord progressions, a lot of times, I have to play it a bunch of times and force myself to not look at the chart to really remember what's going on.
The hardest thing for me is remembering what songs I know. Like just having that list in front of me. That's mainly what I use it for. Is like I don't ever have it on a chart. I have it on the set list view, and then I can just pick songs. It's sort of overkill though. It's like I've got an iPad that's a list of songs, but it's so much better than having a piece of paper because it's constantly changing and adding.
I'll do that sometimes.
And I can reorder them. And
sometimes I'll play like 5 gigs, and then all of a sudden I'll realize like, damn, I didn't play my favorite song for the past 5 gigs, because I forgot. I knew it, That happens to me all the time.
And it just leaves the repertoire because it's just forever forgotten. Like once you don't play it for like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of, I know you play guitar and you sing a little bit, right? And
not publicly.
Okay. I thought you don't do.
Man,
backup
I
stuff
should. I think with you, I'd bring a mic out.
Yeah.
And then I think eventually it was an extra thing to bring, and I never really used it and didn't feel confident. But I think my ear is probably good enough now where I can do harmony stuff.
Yeah.
But I still don't have that much confidence in it.
Okay.
It's like I don't like the quality of my voice.
Okay.
Singing.
So that's not something that you're thinking. I mean, I would just think with all the context you have, like, and everything, you could
Right.
you could really capitalize on a solo career, you know?
Man,
Yeah.
if I had a decent voice, make my life so much easier. Wouldn't rely on all
probably
these guitar
do.
players,
I bet
singers.
you do.
Everybody's
Man,
they're
I mean,
more
maybe if I
script.
did it more, because I've definitely seen people start out with weak voices and progress to where it's like,
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I'd ever be able to pull off. Who knows?
I was going to ask.
solo thing.
You talked about when you started using the kick.
Yeah.
How difficult was that?
Because I was a shitty singer.
Because why?
Because
you were a shitty singer.
That was it. You know, like, how can I make myself more valuable? If I'm just a bass player, that's one thing. But if I can, like, on these duo gigs especially, so, like, you know, it's hard to get paid for more people. Like, if you want to book a 7-piece band in a bar, oh, wallet. If you want to book a 7-piece band in a bar,
Don't forget that.
no, can't. It's not like the bar's making 7 times as much money it's hard. So being able to keep it into a concise thing is important. And I was, I brought the kick drum out and I was like, I can smack on the neck and kind of make a snare sound out. And that was really like, I'm not a good singer. How can I kind of make up for that? What else can I do?
Was it difficult to add that in, or was it pretty easy?
Yeah, I think I went about it the same way I added in upright and Mike and I set. So when I started playing with Mike, I was like real fresh on upright and was really bad at it. So I could play a couple of tunes and I'd bring that thing out and it would sit in the corner most of the night and I'd play electric on most of the stuff and then 2 tunes or upright and then next week maybe a third tune, you just keep on adding and eventually it wasn't worth bringing the electric out anymore.
Yeah.
And with the kick drum it was the same thing. I'd bring it out and I could do like a Johnny Cash song because it's just 4 on the floor the whole time. And then, once you kind of get more beats in your vocabulary, they kind of become automatic.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of just throw stuff in.
So you kind of eased it in. You didn't just jump right into it.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm going to make myself play this on every single song tonight.
Right.
No,
Right.
that would have been terrible.
I was gonna say, I bet just having the upright on the stage, like that can
Grasp people.
Yeah, it could.
Absolutely.
Like if I was an audience member and you were playing electric, but the upright was on, I might hang around,
Right.
Because I'm like, when's he gonna play that? Like I want to see him play that.
Yeah,
We used
there's
to get tips
definitely
before we played.
a gimmick to it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. It's this massive thing. People don't see that much. So
it's a
they're
cello,
kinda-
man.
I get cello all
Cello right there.
all the time.
I would
It's the
think
biggest
too, like
violin I've ever seen in my life.
some solo
I've heard it all.
performers that you play with, having that if they're used to just playing like by themselves or with a bass player is a little looser than having like a drum going all the time, and maybe there was some like. Did you ever run into that where it messed up?
Well, some guys do their own thing. So, like Timmy Metz, he loops beats a lot. So he has like the Boss, what is it, 20? The
RC20 or something.
Yeah. The looper, the old one, like the double pedal.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of songs. Actually, a majority of it, almost all of it, he would just want to put his beat down first, which was fine. It sounds really good. He does a great job of it.
Oh, is he looping drum beats? Like
He'll loop a
on
beat and then play to it.
Okay.
And that's what he's used to doing on the solo stuff.
Yeah.
But lately we've been playing more, and he's kind of trusted me more to do it. But he's also the kind of guy, and I love it about him. He just knows the songs so well. Like he knows what the bass should be doing, and he knows, like what the drums are and all that. So it's like, it's a Tom Petty song. I think it was not "Don't Let Down." Won't back down. Won't back down. It's only a single kick, and I was just playing double kick to it. And he's like, man, it makes a big difference. And I went and listened to the recording. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like that single kick just locks it in. So there's things like I'll just kind of make up beats most of the time,
right.
and he knows what should be there, which is great because it pushes me to, like, with him, I'm going to work on those songs. I'm going to listen. I'm going to play those bass parts.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn what the parts are.
Cool.
And then Jordan Sokol's kind of a similar thing. He has one of those pads,
Oh,
the
yeah,
boomerang
yeah.
pad or
Boss.
something, or the whatever it is that he kicks, and he like knows where he wants that kick to be. So when I play with him at that party, I didn't bring a drum at all, which is kind of freeing. It's kind of nice. I love doing it, But if I don't have to do it,
Oh yeah.
Sure.
soloing, like everything's just, you're not thinking about too many different things.
That's a huge plus I can't think of the right word to use, but like being that open to feedback and it just makes you so much more valuable, to other musicians.
Yeah, you want to just do a good job, and you want the people that you're playing with to be happy with what you're doing. Like I'm always, if there's anything wrong, like let me know.
Right.
Tell me what I can make better.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not like that. They're like, I'm gonna play this double fucking kick because that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? But
because I can.
Because I can, and I want to.
I want people to know.
Well, because I want people to know that I can play 2 drum beats and not 1. But yeah, man, I'm sure that's gotten you helped even more to get you even more work. Just being easy to work with.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, when we play together, I was like, this is nice. Yeah.
I would tell Mike to stop playing
glove.
stuff, and he would play more of it.
Yeah. Well, Joe doesn't like octaves for some reason. I'm a big octave guy.
Oh, like octave slides on guitar, yeah.
Like when I'm soloing, I like
Smashing Pumpkins and
I just like it.
Wes Montgomery, big octave guy.
Joe doesn't like it, so
I should have been the one
doing it.
No, you didn't.
Well, because sometimes I would do it and you'd be like, "Oh, that was awesome, bro," and I'd be like, "That's the thing you hate," and you'd be like, "Oh, never mind." I didn't like it.
Oh, it is. Never mind. I hated it.
I didn't like that. Yeah. But so something else that we had touched on last time that I thought was pretty cool. You were talking about sort of your method of getting gigs earlier on, and not like making it easy for artists. Like if I play with somebody else and I have a bass player that I normally play with, right, and you want to play a gig with me,
the ethics of being a sideman.
Yeah,
should be like a blog or something, or a book
a little bit.
Yeah,
that was interesting. I thought.
Sorry, I got these. We were having a discussion about gym shorts earlier and the comfort
over there,
but not good at containing things in the pockets.
Well.
Yeah, everything's just gone. Right. So, like, how to stay busy. Like, one of the big things we talked about last time was having something to offer as opposed to asking for something.
Yeah.
So, like, you could go up to people and be like, "Hey, I play bass. Love to play with you sometime. Let me know if you got a gig or anything." And that's kind of tough. Most people that are doing that either have their solo gigs and they pay a certain amount, or they have the guys that play with them already. Mm-hmm. And if you bring somebody else in, that's kind of like a weird, playing with guys. There's like this weird kind of relationship thing about it. You have like your guys, and if you were to use somebody else instead of your guy, then it can be, why is that? Why didn't he call me for that?
Yeah,
we've been doing it. So there's those issues. But if I go up to you and say, "Hey, I had this gig at such and such place, and it pays this much. Do you want to do it?" That takes that out of it, because you're not. Well, if your guy wanted to play the gig, he should have got the gig. It's not like you're hiring me, like I'm hiring you. So it's kind of a different. Yeah. It's kind of a different thing, and then you can also like fill your schedule that way because the booking and the dates and everything are on your terms. Like I have these dates open. I can make I can make this work with you. So that's kind of a great way to keep your schedule full is to and it starts out just by knowing the venue. So like if you get into a venue with someone, meet who does the booking or talk to them, and then you can reach out and be like, "Hey, I got this other thing that I do. If you'd like to have us, we'd love to do it." You can kind of fill it out that way. But yeah, there are ethical things with it. Like I can't, if you're already playing Island Pub with your bass player, and I reach out to you and say, "Hey, do you want to do this Island Pub gig with me?" Well, you already play there with that guy, so that can be kind of a weird thing. But if it's a venue you don't play already, then I'm bringing something new to you, and that kind of works a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's okay though. Like if you need someone to fill in, you know what I mean?
If it's a fill-in thing, but if it not to start like a regular thing.
Yeah, right.
If I need you, like, hey man, my so-and-so can't do it, can you come in next week?
Yeah, that's a little different.
I think it would also be okay if it was like somehow different, I mean, I know that you are...
Like different songs.
Like if it was like, you just put a different spin on it. Yeah, different songs or a different style of music.
Because if you're bringing the same front man in, it's probably going to be pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
with,
you would kind of have to make it different.
Yeah.
But
yeah, hey, I got this gig for you. Could you learn like 20 new songs for it? And, yeah.
Be a little
Right.
weird.
That's my job. I gotta learn your stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but that's cool. I mean, that's like, I think that's something that a lot of sidemen, don't.
Sit back and wait for it.
Yeah, they don't. It doesn't occur to them that like, oh, I could be like. I mean, you have more gigs. Like, you're one of the few sidemen that has more gigs than most solo guys have. You know,
Right, probably.
because you're mixing up all these different frontmen, and you can go like you could play the same venue 3 times a month if you
Right.
wanted to with different.
I mean, there's a
people.
lot of downsides to it. Like, I rely on somebody. Like, I have.
Yeah,
to,
there's that line.
if the singer backs out, like, I'm not showing up. But
Yeah, but how often does that happen? I mean,
people back out. You know, I got.
but that you can't find someone else to fill in.
I haven't tried. Yeah, I mean, there was one today, but yeah, it happens, and you know, it happened last Friday. Somebody backed out of a gig on the Monday before, and I couldn't find anybody to.
And then it's on
to
you.
fill
It's
it.
not on them, really.
Right, and then because I booked it, it's my responsibility to deal with the person that deal with
right.
it with the venue. And luckily, I found a great band to fill in for me,
Okay,
and
cool.
everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And then that band has a new venue that they can try to book, and
Yeah.
you know, the circle of life.
has it ever happened where, like, you know, because you mentioned, like, if you go to a gig or a new venue and you're the sideman, like, you should still find the person that's booking and make develop a relationship with that person. Did you mean that, or is that what you said, or did I kind of hear you wrong?
Yeah, I guess, like, I do most of the booking, so I'm kind of used to doing that. But that's, you know, having that kind of relationship with people, and not that, I mean, that can also be looked down upon. So, like, there's been times where I've talked to songwriters or singers, and like they play with somebody for a while, and like every bar that they play, that guy goes in and like tries to get a solo gig out of it,
Right.
you know. And then
Yeah. Mike loved to do that.
And then,
They learned together.
Joe loved when
It was kind of like a running joke.
was a
you
joke.
know,
Yeah, we were cool with
you
that.
want to be within reason. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you're doing it with one act too much, if someone's giving you a gig and you're trying kind of like every single time trying to kind of undercut them and take that gig, that can be a little.
It can be a little
much,
hairy,
but
yeah.
it's yeah. There's a happy medium there,
right.
I think.
So
I'm not being shady about it.
Has it happened where, I mean, I guess maybe not, because it sounds like you are booking most of the gigs, but like,
Right.
have you ever gone to a new venue where you didn't book it, the person you were with booked it?
Yeah.
And then, like, what do you do in that situation? Do you still seek out the person that's booking and try to meet them, or do you say to yourself, well, this is not, like, I'm here because of this other person. I didn't book this gig, so I'm not going to undercut it. Do you still handle it the
But
same
it doesn't
way?
have to be an undercut.
It
'cause-
doesn't happen that
Right.
often.
Yeah, I mean, it
now,
wouldn't.
because I am usually like, you know, most of the gigs that I play, almost all of them, are ones that I booked. Like, outside the Harkum stuff, I pretty much book everything. So it kind of depends. Like, I wouldn't do it all the time, but I would probably ask the person who booked the gig. I'd be like, hey, do you mind if I, you know, or maybe like send me their email or something.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So I'm not going to go and, I don't know.
I guess if you kind of start off, like, you know, if you're a sideman and you start off your journey that way as
Yeah.
like, I want to be involved with booking, and then you become known as like a sideman that does a lot of booking,
Right.
then it's kind of not.
Yeah, I kind of have enough. Like, I haven't
break
had
the
to
ice
do
a little
that. Yeah, but I used to like go around and go to bars all the time and just stop in and just give out cards and talk. I mean, that was like pre-internet times. Like, now just send an email with a Facebook page and a YouTube video. You know,
Videos are important.
oh yeah, but yeah, I if I really like the venue, I wouldn't hesitate. Or if I see people playing venues that I would want to play, like, do you mind if I reach out? Do you have the contact or whatever?
Yeah.
But I'm open with that too. Like, I'll offer that.
Right.
As
yeah.
well.
Just like working with another musician, right? It works both ways.
Yeah, I mean, we do, like, you and I are very open with, you know, here's like, we see because we share a calendar or we have access to each other's calendar, so it'll be like, you know,
oh,
hey, I see you booked. What's the play, and we'll go back and forth like with giving each other stuff. And like I texted Colby yesterday and was like, hey, give me your entire booking route. No, I was like, hey, can you tell me who books Portside? You know, and it's like, and he's asked me before, and it's you know, you go back and forth. But I would think like if you came with me to a venue and I booked it, and you went up to the person that booked and was like, hey, if you're looking for more acts, like I have this other act. That's not like,
I got this other guy that sings all the same songs, and he's a little bit better than this guy.
No, so you had me play Docs out in Oxford the one time with you, right? A couple of years ago. I wouldn't like leave the stage on a break and go talk to the people that work there and be like, hey, who books here? Like I would be with you about it, and I would be up for, I wouldn't try to go like behind your back and do it.
Totally,
I would talk to you about like, hey, is that person here, or you know.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like you're like, hey, instead of booking Mike, could you book some?
Right.
It's like, hey, if you have any dates open, I have this other thing that is like, you know, different but similar.
Being open and honest about it. Really
we had Heavy Fred shows where they would ask for a card, and I would be out of cards. So Mike would be like, I have a card.
Joe, you weren't out of cards. You didn't have cards.
I had cards. I just forgot them.
And I was like, it got confusing where people would get confused, like that, because they would book me, then they would book me and Joe, and they would think we were the same, and it was all confusing.
Right.
There was a period of time where it was a little confusing there. Mm-hmm. But no, you know what? This conversation makes me think of something that Rory said on the podcast about how, you know, we're all on the same team, right? So like the way that Mike and I do it, where, I mean, I don't think everybody should share their music booking calendar, but it's definitely helpful, you know.
Right.
I mean, especially when I needed you for duo stuff, I could look and see if you were already booked.
That's a way.
Yeah, so with Brian and me with mixed business. Yeah. Like I just see his calendar and I can book us.
Yeah, it's super.
But also we can be upfront about like what we're getting monetarily at each place, and try to stay sort of a unified front with that, so that we're not undercutting each other and all that. And you know, I don't know. I think it's helpful, but yeah, there's definitely, it's not going to work with everyone.
That's
all
important
the time.
too. Like, you know, if I went and we were making so much on that gig, and I was like, hey, I can do it for
you want to do it for $25 cheaper.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
undercutting
ethical.
each other is not a good business practice, I don't think.
What's your favorite kind of? Well, I was going to say act to play with, but I guess like I was also wondering like venue, like what do you?
Man, it's all
look forward to the
different.
most?
Like I love doing it all. Like I would love, like, you know, when I was in college, I got to do like orchestra stuff and just sight read, or like playing in like the guitar ensemble and just reading stuff was awesome. I love like the Pasadena shows are super fun because I just have like an electric bass and a wireless pack, and I just wander.
The
There's a big
variety.
stage. I just like walking, like I'm just making my way.
With the upright, you're kind of stuck.
I know.
Right? You can't pick
I think
that
that's
thing
what
up.
it is. I get the chance to walk around. I'm just getting my steps in on stage.
Yeah.
But those are super fun because you're just rocking out. And then, I don't know. I love it all. I love the bar gig stuff. You know, the big venues are awesome. Like when we were out with Harkum, I think, we were opening. It was us doing a 30-minute acoustic set duo with like upright and kick drum, and then Ballyhoo and Tropodelic. And the one venue, I think we did like 700, or they did 700 tickets in Kansas City, and I think it was like 600 something. You know, so like those were awesome shows. Like the one was in like a beautiful, the Kansas City was like this beautiful theater, and that's a lot of fun too. But it's all good. Like we just did Cat's Eye as a trio with Mixed Business, and that's like it's a 4-hour gig, you know, 9:30 to 1:30, and but it feels like it's what a gig should be. Like it's like you're working for it. It's the pay is kind of tip based, big time. So you're really, and the people kind of know that, but you're really working for that. So it just feels kind of like, what a bar gig's supposed to be, in that work, and that's a lot of fun. So it's all like, I don't know if I just pick one or not. Like I just love playing.
Do you find like at the bigger venues, do you get more of a like royal treatment, or is it sort of just like the
That's
same?
nice. People want to get their picture taken with you and want you to sign stuff, and there's, you know,
I mean, by the
maybe
venue,
you get
though.
like, you know, if you get a nice green room,
Yeah.
that's
nice.
that's great.
Okay.
We were the opener, so we would get whatever green room was left if there was one.
Yeah.
You know, so but it is nice. Like we do soundstage, a headline, you get a nice green room back there, and sometimes you get like a little like drink package thing or something.
Yeah.
What's the most amount of people you've ever played in front of?
We've done sold out shows at a soundstage, and that's 1,000 cap.
What's the least of it? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, one or two.
I
Yeah.
played for one person for about 15 minutes last night.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, it happens.
I don't mind that. I just always feel bad for the person because I know they're like, I can't leave this guy. Like, you know, I'm like, and I'll even say like, it's like, I'm gonna take a break. Stick around if you can, but I totally get it if you can't. Like, no pressure.
It's kind of like, should I take a break or should I keep playing? You know,
Well, I always do just to give them a chance in case they want to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I take the break I was gonna take. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't like rush it or anything.
Right.
but,
Right. Yeah, it's funny with people and the amount of people. I still made. There weren't a ton of people at Amalfi Coast last night. I still made like $75 in tips, which is not terrible.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Rams
right.
Head gig the other night, same deal. It's like less people was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it works out that way. People kind of maybe those people were more into it, or
Yeah, you
more,
connect.
Yeah, you connect a little bit more.
Dude, like rumor reel,
Those brunches, I saw you had back-to-back rumor meal brunches.
yeah, because I'm
Rumor reel.
filling in with him for
Oh, okay.
him, but like.
It's like, damn, Mike, he's taking up all the
Now,
brunches.
once in a
all the
while I'll do all right.
Good brunches.
there. But for the most part, or like this place, the worst is like this place I played over in Tyson's Corner. It's huge. It's like packed in there. Mm-hmm. Zero tips. I mean,
I'll bet, yeah.
zero.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like, and not only that, but like I'm like, did I die and turn into a ghost and I'm literally invisible? Like, like no, it's like no one cares at all, you know. But then like
Yeah.
the smaller places, but then some place, you know,
Some
like
spots your background, and sometimes you can just embrace that. You can be like, well, we just playing for me right now. I'm
Yeah.
doing what I want to do,
Dude,
and I'm
I
gonna
don't,
have fun with it.
I don't
and-
mind it. It's just, it's not so much like an offense or
Some
anything.
people
It's
get-
just
some people
an
get pissed off.
interesting, like, it's like interesting to me, like how a room affects things. Cause it's like, there's some places where every time I play there, no one claps. And there's some places every time I play there, the
Right.
entire room goes crazy. And it's like, I'm not doing anything different. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing the same thing I did last night. And,
Right.
And
We've been doing it long enough to have that confidence in it, right? Like, I know we're not sucking right now.
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
do-
doing the same shit.
Yeah,
I've been
like-
doing for however many years.
it's
and
not.
It's all
I
right.
don't think it's me. Like I don't take it as
You guys.
It's like it's just an interesting like.
It's you, not
Not
me.
me.
No, I mean it's just like a vibe. It's like there's a vibe in certain places
Oh,
that
yeah.
changes for better or for worse, you know. And it's super interesting. And like the tips, same thing. Like some places the tips are always good, and some places they're always bad. And I guess at a certain point, maybe it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in my mind, where I'm like, I just know
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going to get any tips tonight, so I probably
go in and give up.
Go in, yeah, with that give up attitude, or maybe I go in with like a different spunk because I know that I always do well here or whatever. I
Right.
don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know. It's
It
not-
is. You know, I mean, we used to talk about how if one person clapped,
Oh,
then
yeah.
it would like
Oh
start.
yeah, you got to plan them.
you know?
If you can bring one person in there, bring your mom,
I-
bring your girlfriend, put her in the back somewhere, and just have her going nuts.
My
And then
son
just-
would come to a lot of gigs. He's 11. He just turned
Oh.
11, and he's been coming since. There were a couple spots where it's not too late and it's a decent spot. It's not like a dive bar.
Right.
And I told him that, like, hey man, I need you to like clap a little bit. And dude, he would be on point. The second I finished that song, he's like,
Everybody's
so
like-
I had to tell him like.
Yeah.
Try not to be quite so obvious about it,
the chord ring
like,
out a little
like
bit.
be a little more gentle with it, But
Yeah.
it works, if you
Oh,
get one
absolutely.
person and then the other people
Yeah.
were like, oh, the song's over, yeah, okay, But
What doesn't work is if the bartender's the person clapping. People are like, "Oh, this guy sucks."
I had one of those last night. Yeah, it was like the song was over, and we had one clap, and I was like, "All right, we got one." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, it's the bartender.
damn."
or the people where they like
Sympathy.
they start to clap but they're not sure if they are supposed to, and then you're like,
Right.
it's okay to clap.
Yeah, I'll-
thank you, I appreciate.
Yeah, that's
that.
what's interesting. Like,
Encourage
the
them a little
groupthink
bit.
is so interesting
Yeah.
to me. Like,
It's weird.
or like I like to make the joke, like when people come in, if I'm like just finishing up a song or something, like I'll say if people walk in, I'll say, "All right, guys," everybody pretend like you're having a good time. There's new people here, you know? And that usually, and then like the new people are on board, right? And then it kind of gets the old people like, oh yeah, like we're kind of being lame, you know?
I like that. I might have to steal that from you.
Oh, dude, it works really well. It's a good, like people think it's funny, and and the new people kind of get a little attention, and you know.
I've done the thing that Josh said too, where like he says that he will, you know, like as that last chord's ringing out, he'll start to say thank you, like even before anybody is clapping.
Right.
And that works sometimes, you know, they'll, oh, okay.
But if
I think a lot of times, like you said, it's like, it's background music and they're talking and they're not like paying a whole lot of attention, even though they're enjoying it. They don't necessarily, oh, the song is over right now, this is when I clap, you know.
Yeah, so that's something I struggle with a little bit, is I like to string songs together, and I think sometimes I'll string like enough songs together that people just kind of forget that like the song's gonna end eventually, and it's like they're just kind of in like a hypnosis stage or whatever.
They're like,
or,
what the hell?
Or they got taken, like they you know, in between song 1 and 2, they started clapping, and then there was like, oh, well,
like,
he's still playing, and then they're like, well, I'm not clapping anymore.
He's fucking with me. You should do that, and then stop, and then right when they start clapping, start playing another song.
What we're saying here, people, is that we care.
We care.
We care, and it matters, and just feed our egos a little bit.
Little team.
And it goes a long way. We're going to play better. We're going to be more into it. We're going to, yeah.
But, you know, I was having this conversation with
care more.
Tips matter more than claps.
Tips matter more than claps. Yeah, absolutely.
Tips are great.
I was having this conversation with your audience from Ram's Head when they came last night. People that came. And the lady was like, so, because they were clapping, you know, and I was like, hey, I appreciate that. And then when I took a break, I'm talking to him, and I was saying how, like, it's nice when people clap, but then I don't know how you guys feel, but like sometimes I'll be playing somewhere and they will clap after every song, and like it almost makes me think to myself like, all right, calm down.
It's sympathy, or just...
like it's a little like sometimes it's a little like too robotic,
never good enough for you,
and
Joe.
I'm like, dude, it's such a weird thing, and I question myself. I'm like, why are you thinking that? Like they're clapping for you, you know what I mean? Don't want them to stop clapping. It's kind of a weird thing.
A lot of venues make it tough. Like, you know, there was one I used to play a lot, and I mean, you know, the whole thing is surrounded in TVs, and they're playing pro wrestling, and they're playing Chive TV, and they're playing like, you know, whatever sports game, and it's like I can't not look at that.
Right.
I can't. So I know you guys out there can't. And if you imagine like going to see a comedian or any musical act that you would like paying to go and see, like a ticket, and the TVs are on, like it's just you're making it tough. Like you're just pulling away from this thing that you hired here. Stop it. Just stop doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like you're paying for music. You think maybe you.
I guess you're
like
trying to treat everybody, but man, it's just a distraction. Like if you went and saw your favorite person doing your favorite thing, and WWE is on in the background, like you're gonna look
over
at
their head.
And Chive TV, like you know, like guys
TV.
taking nut shots back to back to back. Like it's like you can't not look at that.
Idiocracy,
right?
What's that show? How My Balls or whatever.
How My Balls.
That show on there. You ever seen Idiocracy?
I always see clips from it, man. I need to go back.
Need to invest an hour
Oh my
and a half
god,
in
yeah,
it.
that movie's hilarious. He's
a good one.
He's constantly.
It's like a Hans Moleman, old Simpsons. He like won a film contest because he got hit with the football.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, totally.
Dating myself. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get a little bit of all. You know, you've got the listening room experience with Joey Harkum, where it's like people are the. I mean, it's mostly like people are listening, right? And those, I mean, or is it a lot of chatter?
That's almost all ticketed stuff now. I mean, the chatter stuff happens. That still happens.
Even at the ticketed stuff.
Occasionally,
Because you're an
it's not
opener
nearly
too,
as bad.
so there's that.
But it's rude there. So like if you know, if I'm playing like at the office last night, people are talking. They didn't pay to come see me.
No,
they probably didn't know I was going to be there, or even maybe didn't know there was going to be music there, and they're out there for me, and that's fine. But like if you go to a room and you pay a ticket to be there, and people around you pay to be there, and you're being chatty, like you're being extremely rude, and like I'd call
if it's
that
like
out.
a acoustic type of situation.
Right, like people were paying to listen, and you're going to talk over them. Like that's a different thing. So I understand the differences there, and I don't get upset, you know, at the bar gig if
yeah,
chatty, you know,
is what it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right on. So the other thing you talked about last time that I thought was pretty interesting was like when you were with Swampcandy. Why am I having Swampcandy?
Yeah.
There's a band called Swamp Donkey or something
Right.
too. That
They've been around for a little bit.
It's
There used to
throwing
be
me off all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Swampcandy.
I was the
know
candy.
Swamp,
I was the
know-
candy of that band.
Yes, you were. When you did the European thing with him, and then you went over and did it with Joey Harkum.
Yeah.
That you felt a little naked at first.
Yes.
Oh
Yes, I
yeah,
did.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, realizing how you can hide behind sound was a thing. So Swampcandy was a very loud band, and if you're playing loud, you can kind of, I don't know, like hide behind that sound. You can feel like safe behind that sound. Like I'm just head down, kicking this drum, beating this bass, and yeah, but if you're playing like more mellow, heartfelt ballads where the lyrics are really at the forefront, and you're standing up there playing in that style, I don't know what it is, but you feel a little bit more naked in front of those people. You feel like you're
more
not,
vulnerable, right?
yeah, that's the perfect word. Yeah, it's and yeah, I understood that. It was like the very first gig we played in Leeds. We used to come and do this like heavy stomping thing, and then Joe and I went and played it, and everybody's out there watching, and it's just kind of more of a mellow thing, and you're not hiding behind that sound as much. I forget what point I made last time, but yeah, there's definitely a thing there of like you can hide behind sound, and it's hard to be.
Yeah, I think that was the point. Is
Yeah.
that you was just sort of surprising to you. You didn't, because you're
Never
playing
thought about
original
it before.
music in both
Right.
contexts. Did you find that the crowd responded differently to?
I mean, I think anybody would respond differently to those two bands. The one such a heavy like stomping thing. It'd be like James Taylor versus, I don't know, The Clash or something. Like,
But I mean, well, I guess I don't. I mean, yeah,
different.
obviously there's gonna be different response. But I mean, like, did you get more of a like positive or negative reaction to one or the other? You know what I mean? Was it like?
I don't know if it went well. It's hard for me to remember. Maybe that's not even it. Swampcandy, because of what it did, and it was heavy, and it was this blues thing. I think it could grab people easier, right? Where like the Harkum stuff, it's still great. I think great from first listen, but it's not. It's a more mellow thing, and it's more about getting into lyrics and stuff. So I think it's kind of a slower burn than the Swampcandy stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. Like takes
So-
more time to get to know it.
Yeah, you're not going to grab people as hard right away with lighter music necessarily, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of an attention
not a-
getting aspect of like.
But
oh,
I
what's
think
going
that
on over there?
it probably has a more
It's more
can have a more lasting like hold on people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I mean a lot of people that are his fans have been fans for years and years and
Yeah,
years.
like Die Hard. you
Yeah.
know.
So the attention grabbing aspect of it, I think. This heavy thing, it makes you pay attention to it.
Yeah,
It's more of a spectacle.
yeah.
Were you guys with
broader
Swamp
appeal.
Candy? Were you guys doing all covers, or was that original stuff?
It was all originals, right?
The only covers we would do would be old Delta Blues tunes. So it would be
Okay.
like Robert Johnson, Son House, Kokomo Arnold songs. So
Yeah.
a lot of the Delta Blues stuff, a lot of those songs, like the slide guitar songs, were covers. And most of the acoustic guitar songs were his original stuff. Although some of the slide stuff was original too.
He had some funny stuff, like
Yeah, it's a couple goofy songs.
clever. Yeah. I remember going to see some like math metal band with him and Forrest, and he brought his guitar with him, like in riding in the car, and was like playing and stuff, like check out this new thing I wrote or whatever, and like some of it was really just I was rolling, man. It was so clever and funny. But do you write any type of music nowadays?
I have it,
Personally?
man. Yeah, like back in the day, like when I first started playing, I used to. And I don't know how much of that, of me not composing, is learning more and maybe feeling like what I'm doing. It's interesting, right? And like I kind of had this conversation with Charles, with Cavusi, and with Ray, and you know, like Joe, like one of Joey's songs is called "Welcome Home," and it's 2 chords. It's just F to G the whole time, and it's one of my favorite songs by him. And I would never write it because I'd be like, this is too simple. This isn't good. This has been done, right? So like you'd have that thought in it, and I think that
you talk
happens.
yourself out of it before you wrote it.
Oh yeah, and or talking to a friend. I don't go into any names. That a friend of his or a friend of ours. I was like, man, I'm kind of jealous that you write these like really great like simple songs. And my friend receiving that was like offended by it. And I was like, no, like I completely understand where that guy's coming from. He has like this intense musical background, and he would feel like that's insufficient. And I see that, like, Charles understands theory and music, and his songs are very complex because I got to learn those tunes, and there's all these like unison runs and weird chromatic things, and this only happens in the second verse, and this is like very like thoughtfully composed. So I think that's part of it. And I think also like writing takes time. Like you have to, like, if you're going to write, like you're going to wake up and devote time to writing. And I wake up and I devote time to practicing. So, I'll practice for an hour or two, just like my workout is like an hour and a half long. And then I had the songs I got to learn or things I got to go over. I have a gig in 2 weeks where I got to like learn like 50 songs, or I really should. I have charts for them. And there's always stuff I got to learn or work on. I was in the studio last week for Joe, and like, so I write to those songs and those parts, and I sit down and I listen to his songs, and I see think about what I hear in my head to it, and try to like. Yeah,
you're writing, but not.
Yeah, but not
the original
from the ground up.
Yeah.
But I would love to. It's just all that stuff takes time. Like I want to put a YouTube series together of like educational stuff, but that takes time.
Yeah.
I want to make. I love fixing stuff. And I want to make videos about me. I have a backlog of stuff that I haven't fixed or made because I want to do videos on it. And I'm like not letting myself fix the shit because I want to make a video.
You're talking about like music gear or like cars?
Yeah, I have an old Unifuzz that I want to like clean up and make nice, like a 60s Univox fuzz.
Cool. That's cool.
I want to build some cables for myself, and I want to make a video about that, like building your own monster cables. I don't know, man. There's like so many things.
Yeah, you made a cool video not too long ago.
With that keyboard?
Remember. Yeah, you were fixing something, and I think I commented on there like this. You should do like.
I went down the nerdiest rabbit hole, man, with that. Yeah, it was a late '70s string synthesizer. It was a Multivox made these. Part for part, pretty much copies of these Roland string synths. And I had to figure, and like it had if you played a note or any set of notes on it, it would play a high B. And I had to figure out, one, how to turn that high B off, because that made the thing pretty much unusable. Then once I figured that out, how to get that high B working only when you hit the key. And I had to learn about like how the entire thing worked, how there's one tone generator that divides into a chip that goes into 12 different, so you get all 12 tones, and that goes into octave divider chips. And each note has an octave divider chip and a row of resistors and capacitors and a transistor, and that's that octave divider chip divides each note into 5 octaves, and pretty much all the notes on the entire board are on all the time, and each key opens a gate, and you learn about that. And then I replaced the transistor, and I got it working. But there's a whole video about that. But like, yeah, I love figuring that out. Yeah. I learned how to use hide glue yesterday, like horse glue. Because that's what you use for instruments, because you can loosen things with you can't use like Elmer's wood glue because it just hardens. Like if you want to take a top off your acoustic guitar or an upright bass or something, and you put Elmer's around or wood glue around the edge of it,
it's not coming off.
You're losing wood. If you use high glue, you can loosen it with moisture, and you have to like mix it up and heat it to 140 degrees. And I had a couple like non-structural things, like my base is plywood, so like the top ply kind of came off in a couple spots. I was like re-gluing and
cool, man,
figuring that out. I love fixing stuff and figuring things out.
That sounds fun. I like learning about things like that too.
I felt good about myself afterwards. So I was like,
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Very talented. I think too with writing, like
we got off topic here.
It's still a part of it at the same time. But it's like all those things you just described, for the most part, you're guaranteed a result.
Like the practice, you mean? I mean, writing too, I guess. It might not be good, but you're going to have something. Yeah.
Yeah, but you like when I was like writing a lot, it was like for all this on a daily basis, you know, there'd be days and days and days where you just don't get anything. But it's all like, it's like part of it, right?
Yep.
Like if I don't get that junk out, I'm not going to get to the good stuff.
Right.
But like with practicing, you can kind of, it's like working out. You can kind of like mark your progress a little bit more obviously. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely like, you know,
Well, you have the end
Mentor
goal
marketing.
is already determined. You know, it's there. Like I'm just trying to work.
yeah, you're
toward
working
this.
towards the thing. Yeah,
Right.
true.
When you're writing something, it's like
It's a little more nebulous.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good word.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what it's going to be. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but it all takes so much time. And I think that's why typically you have like songwriters and you have musicians like a lot of the time. And occasionally you get guys that are awesome at both, like Prince or John Mayer, you know, an amazing guitar player and but made his career writing songs.
Yeah.
And you get guys that can kind of do both those things. But I think people confuse those a lot too. Like a musician friend of mine made a post like asking people like, you know, who are your favorite or best musicians? And like everybody, even like great musicians, they all name songwriters. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there weren't any like Jackos or you know, like those kind of, I guess he wrote, but
Yeah.
like those kinds of guys or like your Pinos or you know, as far as in the bass world,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's guys that like wrote songs. It's like Paul McCartney, who's like amazing, but he's not gonna like rip a solo.
Yeah, like
you know,
he's like maybe he's a good musician from like a groove,
great ear and like
sort of.
ability to come up with great ideas.
Yeah, and like playing well with others, right? Like pocket and all that stuff, but not from a beyond the, you know, technical things beyond
Right.
that sort of. Because I mean, yeah, like even
Stevie Wonder's both. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. It is crazy to think about those people that are both. You know, it's like spread the talent out a little bit, maybe.
Right. Like you could take them and just put them in a band and they'd be great.
Yeah.
They're not doing their own stuff, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough stuff. We talk about writing a lot, Joe.
I'm terrible at it.
I mean, you yeah. It's
I have
you
my
just doing
opinion
it,
of
I
my
think.
writing
Yeah, I
is
think
like your opinion of your singing. Like I do it and I'm just like, ugh,
Right.
that's terrible.
there's such a curve. There's such a I don't know, not learning curve, but just like you have to put so much time in before you get something out that
I hear, like, my experience, I hear songs that are so well written and I appreciate it so much and I'm like, man, that's so awesome. And then sometimes it will inspire me to try to write something,
Right.
and then I try it and I'm like thinking about this, whatever I heard.
But you're only hearing the winners, right? You're only covering the winners. So like, you know,
Yeah,
if you hear that
yeah.
song, that guy has an album with 11 other songs on it.
Yeah.
And then he has however many other albums. And he
All
has
those songs are on the
all
album,
the shit he
too.
didn't think was good enough to be on those albums, which is probably like double or three or however many times the size of those albums.
It's everybody's their own worst critic, you know.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you, man. Yeah, but
it's tough to get past that, you know. I haven't even tried to write anything in a long time because of that, you know.
Yeah.
Back when we were doing Heavy Fred, like I tried to write some stuff and some of it was like okay, but I don't know. I would always just compare it to like songs that I thought were really well written, and
Yeah.
I would be like, man, my
Yes, I
my
think,
stuff
like-
is so terrible compared to that.
and I'm not one to talk, but I think like, you know, completing those ideas is important. And maybe like having a writing partner, like you guys getting together and doing it, like having that back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, the Lennon McCartney thing, right? Like how much of that, you know, if you're unsure of something, you got somebody else there saying like, actually, that's kind of good. You know, like, you know, if you have that if you can get that confidence
Yeah.
from an outside source, because you are going to be overly critical of it.
You know, you were talking about when you were adding the kick drum to playing upright bass and like, how can I make this better? What I heard you saying was like, how can I make myself even more of a commodity? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
how can
absolutely.
I offer even more? You know, and I guess my thought process over the years was like, all right, I tried this. I'm not great at it. I'm pretty decent at this. So like, let me focus more on this.
Right.
You know, and the practicality of it too, right? I mean, writing songs, I'm sure that people that write amazing songs get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, they make a lot of money out of it too. But all the
some
people,
of them do.
You can't, yeah.
Most of
the
them
amazing
don't.
songs, right? But what I was kind of getting to is the people that are writing pretty good, maybe a little bit better than mediocre songs, they're not making a lot of money off of that. I mean,
most of the local guys that are writing songs are not making any money off. That's the wall I ran into. Is like once I had a family and kids, it was like the time thing, right? Like I could devote a bunch of time to writing still, and it feels good and it's great, and like maybe someday I'll sell a song, and but it's like
you
man,
can't have
like,
that
I
in
can't
mind.
support a family with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't. How am I going to justify like going to the studio for 5 hours and writing music?
It's a
like,
weird thing trying to.
It feels like I'm saying to my wife, like, I'm going to go play video games for 5 hours as my job. Like it just feels. I
It's
don't
a
know,
weird
it feels
thing,
childish
like
to me.
meshing the creativity of being a musician with like being an adult and like trying to, be practical while also, being creative and doing those two things at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if I had the time, I sat down and kind of made a list of the stuff I love doing, right? And like, I do love teaching. I mean, number one is playing, and I just want to play all the time, and practicing. Like I love that practice, and like getting better in the challenge of it, and analyzing what I'm doing, and figuring out why I'm not getting the sound I am, or how to make something better. Yeah, so I think if you're a songwriter, like that's important to you, and you're going to do that no matter what. And if that's your thing, like you should devote that time to it, whether it pays off or not. Like if I wasn't playing gigs, I'd still be playing my bass. Like if I just had to like give it up for some reason, I'll be playing something.
Yeah.
Piano or something. I'd be doing something because it's just what I want to do.
I would guess too. You were talking about writing bass parts to songs that you need to play along to. I would imagine that if you have any kind of desire to write, that
There's a lot of satisfaction in that.
Yeah, that probably does scratch a good bit of that itch. I would imagine.
Right. A lot of the songs Harkum brings, he's got his vocal melody and his lyrics, and just basic chord progression. He's just kind of chugging along, so coming up with a part for that. Like there's a song called All My Life, and it's like the bass part is very much at the forefront of that song. Like he's just doing chords, and it's this like bass melody thing that's going on. So yeah, like I do get to scratch that with being a part of an original band. And
yeah, because now you've got you've put your stamp on it. You have part of the creative process.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to start with something. It's like anything. Like if you can if you have this open landscape of infinite ideas, it's hard to try to start like where do you even do? But someone's like, I got this chord progression and I'm singing this, go. Okay, I can like listen to that and hear something, and I mean, which that's probably a great creative exercise anyway. It's just
absolutely.
I'm going to make a song about beluga whales or whatever you're going to make a song about, and then that's going to really tie it in.
Yeah,
and the ideas are going to come from that.
I feel like really good writers, songwriters too. I mean, I do know that people who are songwriters, like you guys were talking about, write hundreds of songs, and maybe one or two of them are really good. But on the other hand, like when I've sat down to try to write something, it's like I'm trying so hard, like I'm putting all this effort into like racking my brain, and I feel like people who are really good at writing, it just comes to them a lot easier.
I think it just you get better at it. Like if you don't do it for a while, you get worse at it. It's like a muscle, You get better at getting into the flow of it. Like when I was writing all the time, it was just you're doing it all the time too. Like you've got songs like going on and that you're sort of working on. So as you're in the world, you're like thinking about that, like you hear a word and it's like that would work there or whatever, and you're actively doing it.
It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, where it's like, whereas if you're just sitting down once in a while and you're like, okay, I'm going to write, and you're like, I don't ever write, but I'm going to like do it all of a sudden, you're not going to be good at it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You're like, I better get it. I better get the one this time.
Methylene blue probably helps a lot.
Probably.
Right? Probably get some of that stuff.
Do you know about methylene blue?
No.
I got some if you want to do it after this podcast is over.
I don't know anything about it. It sounds like.
Can I drive on it?
It's
sure.
It's like a health supplement. I thought you were a gym bro. I thought you'd know about it. So.
I mean, I don't know about protein and creatine. That's the best part.
That's all. That's all.
I don't do drugs, Mike.
Yeah. I don't do it either. I tried it. All right. It made my pee turn blue. And
It is a legal supplement that Mike says is called
it's supposed to like
methylene blue.
regenerate your cells and like make your mental clarity more clear. And
He keeps talking about how he can't sleep at night. I'm like, it's probably the meth. That you keep
I
doing.
tried. That's part of why I tried it, is to help me sleep. But man, it didn't help at all. Anyway, let's talk about Joey now.
Sorry, I gotta throw.
Yeah, the writing, understanding how you work too. So a lot of people can kind of get up like first thing in the morning, and that's their like. For me, that's a very structured time of day. I'm good with like scale practice and very like concrete things. And at night, I feel way more creative. Like if I get home from a gig or just late at night, I'm gonna be just kind of like riffing on ideas, and that's when a lot of like ideas start. So maybe think about that with yourself as far as like. Think about how you are at different times of the day and how your mind works. And I don't have like the patience to like really do in-depth bow exercises at 10 o'clock at night, but I'll play around. And
That's a good point. Yeah. Like
I can relate to that. Yeah.
having like concrete things to do in the beginning of the day. I think that's
how I
solid.
work. That's how everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I try to like come up with, at night, like I'll try to come up with a list of like a few things to sort of like focus on at the beginning of the day, because that way I'm like, when I get up, I can just go and look, and it's like, okay, I don't have to think, I don't have to decide what to do.
Right, because that takes time.
Yeah.
Like prioritizing the day of. Yeah, like I have a forever growing Google Doc. It's just like my to-do list and stuff.
You just pick a few things each night.
Yeah, I just kind of, yeah. Some things I'll save that I know I can just get done at night that are kind of easy things, like something I want to research or look up or whatever. And like, I got to know kind of what part of day too for that.
So what is a typical day like for you?
Typical day.
It's a good question for everybody.
In life of me. Get up, hang with the family for a little bit, maybe have breakfast together, and then I'll go to the studio around somewhere, depending on how long that goes, between like 9 and 10:30 or 11, I'll be over there. It's like a big breakfast day, a big hangout day. And then try to get into practice right out of the gate. If I get into if I sit down at the computer first, or look at social media, or worry about like emails and stuff like that, that stuff's in my head. And then that stuff's in my head while I'm trying to practice, and it's distracting, So trying to go in clean in the morning, without distraction is pretty big. And then stuff always happens. There's like, you get a text, I book for a couple bars, maybe somebody cancels, maybe I need to reach out to a few people or respond about some gigs, maybe I got to put a poster together for Mixed Business, or I got to post about that. That happens kind of midday. I try to get a workout in between like 2 and 4 if that can happen. And then, it's hard to structure it because you're at home. So it's different. Like if you leave and go to work, you're at work. But I'm at home when I'm around, so I kind of, I check in on Gina and the kids, and I, throughout the day, and then go to my gig whenever I go. Okay. So today was like, get up. I didn't have much time, so didn't hang with the family too much, but I hung out while Gina took a shower, and then I went over and practiced, and then didn't really have much time for workouts. I did some Pilates, got to leave at like noon, had to shower, and get over here, try to eat something real quick. So today was kind of like packed in. Like I texted Charles about some dates.
But so do you try to get up at the same time every day, or is that kind of dependent on what you did the night before?
I don't have much, with kids, you don't have much of a choice. So I kind of end up around like 8:30 the latest.
Not bad for...
Nah, but I mean, when they're not around, I might sleep till 9.
Okay.
But you have that biological clock, and you can't, I can't sleep late anymore.
Okay, interesting. Do you fall asleep pretty well after gigs nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that trouble too much. I mean, I might mess around for like an hour or something next door, or unless I really get caught into something and I feel like I'm being productive. But I also know my productivity level. Like, so I know if, you're just taking time from the next day at a certain point. So I'm kind of like, once I'm not really doing anything, I'm like, all right, it's time to call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. I used to be like, when I first started doing gigs, like I would just be kind of like hepped up afterwards, and wouldn't be able to sleep. But now it's like I could fall asleep on the way home.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have even like big shows. I'm just like, all right, let's get out of here. Yeah. I'm like the first one packed up. Yeah. Like the end of Harkum gigs and stuff. I'm the first one. Like, I'm packed up. I'm helping packing merch up. and all the guys' stuff is still on the stage. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. Not partying afterwards.
Not really. You know, I kind of got, I still drink a little bit, but not nearly as much as I used to. And it just gets old, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you're in a bar every night, so it's so easy. And a lot of times it's free and people buying stuff for you, whatever, but it just gets old.
Yeah. Does it,
You're tired of feeling awful.
Yeah, it'll affect you the next day, and all that stuff. And affect your. I mean, if you're only drinking a little bit, it's not really affecting your like performance.
Yeah,
I would think, but you know, I don't know, some of these guys that like the whole sort of vibe of the band is like we party. I just can't imagine doing that on a regular basis. You know?
If I stay up till 1:30, 2 in the morning and not drink anything at all, like I still feel like shit the next day, you know, and I think like, man, I couldn't imagine being hungover right now on top of going to bed so late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, like the Swampcandy show, like the UK stuff too, we drink a lot on those.
Oh, yeah.
But, there was a couple. I think you get better at it, at drinking and playing over time. Like you just get like.
You probably do.
I need to
you just hang on,
drinking
or at least you think you do. I remember, man, like, feeling like I was like out of body one time. Like I was just watching myself do it. And I was like, I hope I'm just doing it well. I hope it's just.
Yeah, I mean, muscle memory and all does sort of play a role in that, I would think. Like,
but I kind of stopped. Yeah, stopped doing that.
Good job.
Thanks. You do it like so much. You know, I'm in a bar like 6 nights out of the week. So when I'm home, I don't.
Yeah.
And then I try not to most of those gigs. There's some gigs I'm always going to have a couple drinks, like Cat's Eye. It's like, it's hard to be sober and Stan and Joe's. I don't know what it is. I got to have like a couple beers. I'm not getting crazy, but you know.
Yeah.
But tonight I might have one.
Where are you playing tonight?
We're with Ale House. They have a really good beer selection, so I'll just have like one Pilsner kind of thing.
Yeah, right on. Cool. We're probably getting pretty close to
we are. Yep.
The end here.
Yep, we are, for sure.
We don't want to
I'll
mess
see
the
you guys in
audio
like
up.
3 or 4 more weeks when we'll do it
We
again.
have to redo it again.
If we go too long, we will have to do it again because the audio will get messed up.
No, it's good to go now. Yeah, we can record for days, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was like.
I had to change the setting. It's good to go now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll explain that all to the nerd.
Watch, I should knock on
nerd.
wood because I'll probably go to listen to it and it'll be all fucked up.
Yeah.
No, man, but
I don't
yeah.
think so.
Thanks again. I feel like
Yeah,
the
thanks for
conversation was just as good this time as it
Thanks.
was last time. Yeah, we got to hear about the Europe stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Thanks again.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
gang.